welcome to my YouTube channel. My friends recently asked me, what is the best touring model at an affordable price? So naturally the twin cam came into my mind. So I searched in the internet and YouTube, but I couldn't find an overview which satisfied me. Therefore I have extensively studied all twin cam touring models from 1999 to 2016, as well as various used motorcycle offers on online platforms such as eBay. And in this video I will present you a brief model overview with typical strengths and weaknesses of different model years. By the end of the video I will also tell you my top 3 model years which I believe offer the best value for the price. So make sure to watch until the end. Although the engine is considered reliable today, it initially had some weaknesses that were gradually eliminated over the years. Let's start with the first generation of the engine with 88 cubic inches. The engine was produced for a total of 7 years. This means from 1999 to 06. One major advantage of the older models is the carburetor. Many people prefer the old school carburetor. The biggest disadvantage of the first twin cam touring generation is the engine. Not only is the engine less powerful than newer generation engines, it also has a few significant flaws. The first twin cam generation was fitted with a spring-based camshaft tensioning system. Unfortunately, a synthetic tensioning shoe made of a material that was too soft was used, and the permanent load caused it to wear out more quickly and allowed plastic to enter the oil circuit. With mileages above 20,000, the tensioner shoe could break completely, thereby damaging the camshaft chain. In the worst case scenario, this could lead to a major engine damage. Fortunately, only few models are affected by this. This problem could easily be eliminated by installing a hydraulic tensioning system or switching completely to gear drive. So if you can find a used model with such a conversion at a favorable price, you can get a real bargain. As long as the bike rides properly and the engine sounds healthy, fixing some of the early model issues may be an option and worth considering, especially if you find a very good offer. And if you manage to find a machine which has the 95 cubic inch big bore kit installed, even better. This kit is a huge performance upgrade for the old engine. The first model year is the only year in the entire series to have still the old braking system with 2 pistons per brake caliper. The braking performance of the very first twin cam tourer is therefore limited. The models from 2000 to 2006 were already equipped with the newer braking system, a significant advantage. Compared to the later touring models, the early models still had relatively narrow rear wheels. From 1999 to 03, the rear tire was just 130 mm wide. The narrower rear wheel had both advantages and disadvantages. On the one hand, not everyone likes the narrow look and early models tend to wobble at higher speeds. On the other hand, the first generation of touring models is much more maneuverable at low and medium speeds. You can feel a clear difference when turning a 99 tourer and a newer 16 tourer. The newer models feel heavier than the older ones. So let me briefly summarize the early twin cam models from 1999 to 06. First of all, there were only very limited models available for these first generation twin cams. You had the Road King, the Electra Glide, the Ultra Glide, and since 2006 also the Street Glide. The pros are mostly that the bikes are cheap, they have nimble handling characteristics at low speeds, and you also had the carburetor until model year 03. Unfortunately, the disadvantages are much bigger than the advantages in these early model years. The bike had low engine performance, it had problems with the cam chain tensioners, and a higher instability. Also, the bikes had no ABS, just a 5-speed transmission which was later fixed. They had no electronic cruise control and older brakes. So in summary you can say, if you manage to find a model which has both upgrades, the cam chain tensioner upgrade as well as a big bore kit at a reasonable price, I would prefer an early model over newer models. The first 96 cubic inch engine was installed in model year 2007. The engine was described as extremely reliable by a wide variety of sources. After a 30,000 miles endurance test, the German magazine Motorrad wrote, "In the power measurement it runs up to top form. Most importantly, the chassis and engine internals are in almost perfect condition. So everything is good? Basically yes." This highly enthusiastic quote basically means that the bike received an A+. The reason for the high reliability of the new engine is a fundamental overhaul. Among other things, Harley installed a hydraulic cam chain tensioner, making the engine problems of the previous twin cam generation a thing of the past. When releasing the engine, the company itself wrote, "Compared to its predecessors, the engine features over 700 new or modified parts. The design changes include an active intake and exhaust system, which contributes to a significant increase in power and torque." Let me now talk about the pros and cons of the second generation twin cam 96, which was produced from 2007 to 2009. First of all, it was available in almost all models except for the Road Glide. The Road Glide of this year was only available as a CVO model. Now this machine has much more pros than the previous generation. First of all, it produces up to 82 horsepower, which is significantly more than the previous generation. Also, it has a 6-speed transmission, ABS, it has a 22-liter fuel tank, as well as ride-by-wire and cruise control. And from 2008, the touring models also have a new Brembo brake setup. The 2009 model also received an improved chassis, as well as a wider rear tire with 180 mm. The only disadvantage that I can think of in this model year is the heavier weight. For instance, compared to the 2003 model, the more recent models weighed up to 50 pounds more. The bottom line is that most industry experts agree that the twin cam 96 cubic inch is a highly reliable and durable engine. Nevertheless, many potential buyers are looking for the newer 103 cubic inch engines or CVO models. That's why you often find real bargain offers with the twin cam 96 engine. For example, in Germany, a Road King model with a 103 cubic inch engine and the Rushmore upgrade from 2014 costs at least 20 to 30% more than a comparable twin cam 96 model. Since 2010, Harley installed the 103 cubic inch engine in touring models. Up to the year 2013, the design and frame geometry are largely similar to the predecessor models from 2009. Simply put, the last twin cam 96 is very similar to early 103 cubic inch models. All in all, the model launch of the first 103 generation was not very spectacular in terms of upgrades. This changed with the 2014 model year and the introduction of the Rushmore upgrade, which had far-reaching changes. New camshafts and a high airflow filter were installed. This increases the power to 138 Nm torque. It is a noticeable power gain, but nowhere near as big as the jump from early twin cam models to the 96 twin cam. Since 2014, Harley installed a cylinder cooling system, mostly on larger touring models with leg shields. The system circulates around the engine valves. Cooling mechanism was cleverly concealed in the leg shields. This is why models equipped with head cooling no longer have loudspeakers in the leg shields. The improved cooling allowed also for a higher compression, which improved the performance of the bike. Even with the extensive engine upgrades, my personal highlight of the 2014 and up models was the numerous design and comfort upgrades. From model year 2014 up, a 49mm fork was installed in the front, offering greater stability and less diving when braking. Also, a combined brake system was fitted, which automatically applied 30% of the braking force to the rear brake when the front brake was activated. Furthermore, the design of the Road Glide models was modernized and the airflow of the fairing improved, as well as the infotainment system. My biggest highlight, however, and the main reason why I would buy a 2014 and up model, are the saddlebags. The locking levers have been completely redesigned and can now be opened easily with one hand. Anyone who has ridden with older pannier systems for years will know what I mean. You can now open the pannier briefly at the traffic light and throw your gloves in. A small yet significant increase in comfort. However, not all was well with the last twin cam generation. For example, many models were fitted with a hydraulic clutch system, which in rare cases could lead to oil leaking from the transmission to the primary, which could result in transmission damage. In addition, the models after 2014 are rather popular, which is reflected in a higher market price. This means, however, that bargains are harder to find. Let's quickly talk about the pros and cons of the last twin cam generation. There are a lot of pros in comparison to the previous models. Basically, all the pros of 2009 are also valid for these models. Also, we had a more powerful engine and an oil cooler, which was new. And as I mentioned previously, the latest model year had the Rushmore upgrades, which included the suspension as well as the brake upgrades. We had a new intake, and most importantly, we had also easy to open saddlebags, as well as a new Road Glide design, a new infotainment system, and many smaller things. When it comes to the cons, we still have the heavier weight, and also those models are highly sought after, thus they are expensive. Next, I would like to talk about my top 3 picks. First of all, I have to say that my selection is purely subjective. My top 3 are the result of my personal experience and may deviate from your personal choice. I deliberately don't differentiate between different touring models because I think that the choice of the model depends much more on personal preference. People who like to listen to music and sit behind a fairing while riding their motorbike are more likely to buy the Road Glide or a Street Glide. Fans of classic looks are more likely to go for the Road King Classic. In the end, it doesn't really matter which motorbike you ride, as long as you just ride, and my overview is just a little help to find the right bike for you. But enough talk, let's look at my rankings. My number 3 pick is the model year 2009. This model has already seen many significant model changes compared to model year 07 and older, such as modern cruise control, modern brakes and also a modern design. This model year is also the most powerful version of the twin cam 96 engine, and it is still considered as one of Harley's most reliable engines today. Plus, as many buyers are looking for a 103 twin cam model, you can find real bargains here. You can't make a mistake by buying a 2009 Harley Davidson touring model, and you may even sell it at a profit afterwards. In second place, I choose the early twin cam 103 models produced from 2010 to 2013. These model years are also reliable, but already have the 103 cubic inch engine. Other than that, they are mostly similar to the 2009 models. One nice thing about the 103 models is their affordability. When looking at the marketplace, there is only a minimal difference between late TC96 models and early TC103 models. Although the performance increase from the twin cam 96 to 103 is not too high, I would still prefer the more powerful engine since there is only a small price difference. However, if the 103 engines are much more expensive than the 96 in the region where you live, I wouldn't be afraid to buy a late 96. Ultimately, the choice between an early 103 and a late 96 is the price. Let's come to my number 1 pick for the most affordable touring model, which offers the best value for the price. My choice might somewhat surprise you since this video is about finding the best value at an affordable price, yet my first pick is the most expensive twin cam model. Nevertheless, I have chosen the twin cam model years from 2014 to 2016 for my first place. Why, you may ask? The answer is quite simple. There were so many upgrades introduced in these model years that I would still favor these model years over its predecessors, despite the higher price. In my personal opinion, the upgrades are well worth the price increase. The perfect saddleback design, a new combined braking system, a new intake, and various small but very pleasing design updates make the 2014 to 2016 model years my clear number 1 choice. For example, the Road Glide alone had so many design changes, which made it become an instant classic. Do you agree with my ranking? Leave a comment and don't forget to support and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.